students, welcome to our YouTube channel. So as you know, we are discussing multiple concepts. Today we are going to talk about one concept that is related to communication. Nowadays, a lot of different types of communication are also asked, and they specifically are talking about intercultural communication. So when it comes to Buddhism and its principles, ये एक ऐसा topic है जो इस बारी a lot of questions were seen from this topic, right? So we saw questions from the 4 communication principles of Buddhism and other aspects of Buddhist philosophy and communicational aspects. Let us talk about the 4 communication principles related to Buddhism. The principles of communication are very important in Buddhism. Buddhism के अंदर the principles of communication are very important, since the right use of the words and the silence depends largely on the harmony of a particular social environment. So for the Buddhist people, the harmony that is maintained in a social environment is very important. And for the harmony to be maintained, the choice of words that you use is very important. So the words are very important and the silence are also very important. 2 things that will directly impact the communication process, the interpersonal communication process according to the Buddhist philosophy. Each of these principles refer to communication with oneself and the other. So when you're talking to yourself, intrapersonal, and if you're talking to someone else, interpersonal. When it comes to the choice of words you make or the silence is a very important thing to look about. Buddhists claim that there are 4 communication principles that must be preserved in order to achieve a particular kind of harmony among the human beings. So if you want ki shanti bani rahe, if you want a proper harmony ho, there should be a good communication, a proper communication that would happen without any entrophies. There you need to follow these 4 very important principles. This approach does not involve commandments that is there, but instead they propose some patterns to follow when you have a genuine desire to keep healthy relationships with the other person. They're not saying that these are the things that are imperative. The Buddhist philosophy is not saying that these are your commandments, you have to follow it. They're just saying that for harmony and for good relationships, for good communication to happen, it is important to use these 4 communication principles. First of all, they say truthfulness is the first principle you have to hold on to. Then you have kindness, then usefulness, and then there is peace. Each of them aim to make conversation more valuable and more meaningful. So according to Buddhist philosophy, these 4 principles should be there in every communication to maintain a good, harmonious, interpersonal, intrapersonal communication. These are as follows. First of all, tell the truth. Why do you want to lie? If you lie with someone else, you are just digging your own grave. So according to Buddhist philosophy, we know that sometimes the words can create problems. Sometimes it can be harsh to someone else. It is possible that आपके words किसी को बुरे लगेंगे. But if you are truthful, then your life will be easy and the other person's life will also be easy. Also, you have to choose those words जिनसे किसी को बुरा ना लगे. Before you speak, before you utter anything, you have to use the words that are easy to hear and they are easy to understand as well. Then we have do not exaggerate the things. Do not exaggerate or say things with kindness. If you are kind, if you do not exaggerate, then your communication will be smooth and easy. Be consistent, be useful. Whatever you are talking, उतना ही बात करो जितना जरूरी है. Do not say the things that are not at all needed. It is very important to have the right amount of conversation and create a peaceful language. Use a very peaceful language. It should not be very abusive, very judgmental, very violent. but use language that is giving peace to everyone. Let us talk about each principle. First of all, we have truthfulness. The first communication principle is truthfulness. It is more complex concept that it seems in the first go. In fact, being truthful means sticking to the reality. Sticking to the reality when you are speaking. You know that maybe these words will be difficult, that the other person can process it. हो सकता है उसको दिक्कत हो, but you have to be truthful no matter what. The problem is that people do not always know what the truth is. Sometimes they may be lying to themselves. So to say truth, you have to know yourself. Know yourself, think about what you are saying, and then only talk to someone else. Then there is the second principle, that is kindness. There is a big difference between being sincere and being mean, being inconsiderate or being disrespectful. Try to be very respectful with the other person and say whatever you are saying with kindness. Respect and consideration are fundamental when you want good relationship in communication. Respect what the other person is saying. Give them chance to talk as well. And then communicate properly. This will enrich your communication. Disrespect and disrespectful expressions that will come on your face will only create difficulties, and no nurturing of exchange would happen, and there will be never a good communication that will happen. So control your facial expressions, create harmony, and talk with the utmost respectful manner with anyone you are talking. Then comes usefulness. Buddhists insist that there should be importance of learning in the value of silence. You should know what is the value of silence. Silence sometimes speaks louder than words as well. This is what the Buddhists think. Too many silence is a void that must be filled in a right manner. If you are too quiet, then it is also problematic. But if you talk too much, then also it is a problem. But Buddhists consider it a natural space to listen to yourself and others. So if you are silent in a particular good amount, then you are giving yourself and the other person the space to deliberate and to think onto the things. Without listening, there cannot be communication, and it is a two-way street. So according to the Buddhist philosophy, it is very important to be a good listener as well. Listen to what the other person is saying. It is important that you give useful information, talk when it is needed, give those things out that are needed in a very peaceful manner, use good words, and give the other person chance to speak. So silence is also sometimes important, but the duration of silence ko samajhna is also very important. The last principle is the principle of peace. So according to this principle of Buddhism, it is important that you create peace and you maintain peace. So Buddhists say that the words are only justified when they aim to keep the peace between the people. If you are not creating peace, then it is only going to deteriorate your relationship with the other person. Every message with another goal should contribute to create only proper communications. And if you do not give proper communicational skills, if you do not give proper, if you do not use proper peaceful words, then there will be misunderstandings and negative emotions in the people will only be generated. So these are the 4 principles that are needed when it comes to what? When it comes to your Buddhist philosophy of communication. Buddhist, according to this Buddhist philosophy, communication is that thing that is needed to make you exist. Without communication, you cannot exist. And if you want good communication with anyone else, you need to be very truthful, kind, useful, and you have to create peace. So for meaningful and valuable communication, you have to follow these 4 principles, right? So a lot of questions are now asked from Hindu philosophies of communication and as well as Buddhist communication. Try to read more about these things because in 2023, plethora of questions were asked from this topic. Earlier, we used to think communication is a very easy topic, but now we have seen interdisciplinary questions. So from your logical reasoning, they have taken this part. Logical reasoning, maybe used to study the Buddhist philosophies, and they have taken those things here and tried to mix it with communication. So interdisciplinary questions are asked. Try to read more about it. If you still have any doubts, you can ask me that in the comment section, and I'll surely reply to you. Thank you.